All right, good morning. We are on the record. This is case number CR 41-23-877. It's entitled State of Idaho versus Jeremy Albert Best. Looks like we lost the jail. The jail still here? All right, so in the world of Zoom, we're gonna just, I'll just step off the bench for a second and we'll see if we can make a phone call down there and see what we need to do to get reconnected and then let me know once we're going. Is there a way to keep the live stream going so we don't have to wait? Okay, so we'll keep the live stream going and then just let me know once we get everybody back on, okay?
You got a brief logistical sidebar.
I don't know how we'll do that with Mr. Burt, with Mr. Archibald and Mr. Malik. Yeah, come on. Sergeant Level on the team, the adults, rescue meal.
Excuse me, but the audio is really bad.
Maybe that I'm not speaking directly into the microphone. Miss Lane, is that better?
You're muted, Judge.
I am on purpose.
That is a bit better, yes.
So it'll show that I'm muted, but the sound is coming through the courtroom, which gives us a better recording all the way around. So.
Hi, I'm Competency County. Hey, we had just started our hearing about Mr. Best and I lost that they're no longer on Zoom jail. It might not be the right office, but are they trying to get back on?
I'm already back. Bonzo.
Good morning. Do I have the jail there? This is Judge Walker. Do I have the Bonneville County Jail present?
Yeah, we're present, Your Honor.
Okay. If you could turn the camera on, please, that'd be helpful. And then if you could help me adjust it so we get it set.
Oh, there it is.
Right.
Hold on one second, Your Honor.
No.
There you go. So you got it? Perfect.
All right. All right. Good morning. Are we good, Doug? Okay. Good morning. We're on the record. This is case number CR 41-23-877. State of Idaho versus Jeremy Albert Best. My name is Judge Walker, the magistrate judge for Teton County assigned to this case. I have present here in the courtroom Ms. Bailey Smith, elected prosecuting attorney for Teton County. Also on Zoom we have Mr. Randy Neal, prosecutor for Bonneville County. I have Mr. Jeremy Alvin Best present from the Bonneville County Jail, and Mr. Jim Archibald, who has been appointed pursuant to Rule 44.3 as counsel for Mr. Best, and then Mr. John Malik, our Teton County public defender, who's assisting Mr. Archibald. I also have Mr. Loretta Welch, Deputy Prosecuting Attorney for Teton County, and our court reporter is Miss Amy Bland. First thing I need to do is advise Mr. Best of his rights. Mr. Wright, you have the absolute right to remain silent and the privilege against self-incrimination. The state cannot force you to testify against yourself. Any statement you make is part of the record and may be used against you. You have the right to represent yourself and present your case without the aid of an attorney. You have the right to hire your own attorney to represent you in this manner. However, in this case, because of the nature of the charges, the court has appointed counsel to represent you. Under the law, you are presumed innocent unless you plead guilty or proven as such. The charges pending before you are felony matters. If you are charged with a criminal complaint, which you are in this case, there must be a preliminary hearing within 14 days if you're in custody, or 21 days if you're not in custody, unless you waive that time period or unless it's otherwise stayed for other reasons. At the preliminary hearing, the court must prove that it's more probable than not that you committed the alleged crimes for which you've been charged. The state meets this minimal burden, will be bound over to the district court to answer for the charges, and that is where you will enter your plea. If you were to be charged by a grand jury indictment, you would be arraigned on that indictment before another court date if that were to occur. You have the right to a public and speedy trial or court trial, jury trial or court trial. If your case goes to trial, the burden would be on the state to prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. At trial, you can question any witness who's going to testify against you, call your own witnesses to testify for you, as well as present evidence on your own behalf.
What are the charges?
I'll get to that momentarily, okay? If you are not satisfied with the decision of the court, you may appeal that decision to the next higher court, as long as that notice of appeal is filed within 42 days of the court's decision becoming final. Where you're in custody, you have the right to reasonable communication with your attorney and immediate family members pursuant to jail's policy. You can have bail set where the charges in this case indicate potential of the death penalty. You may not be entitled to bond. If you exercise any of these rights, they cannot be used against you. That cannot be used against you. So those are the rights that apply to you, Mr. Best. I'll now read the criminal complaint, which contains the charges against you, and then I'll also advise you of the nature of did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation and malice aforethought, and without legal justification, kill Mrs. Callie Randall Best, a human being, by shooting her in the back and or right breast and or right side and causing her death. Count number 2 alleges murder in the first degree, a felony, Idaho Codes 18-4001, 4002, 4003, 4004, again with a penalty of a minimum of 10 years up to life and or death, or the death penalty and a $50,000 fine. It alleges that the state alleges in that count that the defendant Jeremy Alvin Best, on or about November 30th, 2023, in the county of Teton, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation and malice aforethought and without legal justification, kill a human fetus carried by Miss Callie Randall Best by shooting Miss Best and causing the fetus's death. Count number 3 alleges use of a firearm during the commission of the crime, which is an enhancement under Idaho Code 1925-20, which would add an additional 15 years to any conviction associated with this charge. It's alleged that the defendant, Jeremy Alvin Best, on or about November 30th, 2023, in the county of Teton, state of Idaho, would use a firearm in the commission of the crimes alleged in counts 1 and 2. Dated December 4th, 2023, Office of the Prosecuting Attorney, signed Bailey Smith, prosecutor. Mr. Archibald, having taken care of the rights and the reading of the complaint, how would the defendant like to proceed today?
Your Honor, me and Mr. Malik have met with Mr. Best. We believe that it's necessary for, under Idaho Code 18211, that a competency review be ordered by this court. So we would ask that an order from this court be sent to the Department of Health and Welfare to conduct a mental competency review.
That's not my attorney.
All right, Mr. Best, I'll take care of that in a moment, okay? As the court's indicated, I've appointed Mr. Archibald and Mr. Malik to represent you in this matter. Ms. Smith, you want to be heard on this?
No objection to the 18 to 11, Your Honor.
The court will order a competency evaluation pursuant to Idaho Code 18-211-212. I'll order the Department of Health and Welfare to conduct that evaluation as quickly as practical and return a report to court as to whether or not Mr. Best is in condition to aid in his own defense and understands the proceedings against him. Recognizing that an 18 to 11 may create a stay in this case, I'm still going to go ahead and set a preliminary hearing for December 18th at 9:30 a.m. We should have a report back by then. That may create a need to postpone or move that, but we'll wait for that report to come to the court before we make that determination. Lastly, we need to talk about bond in this matter. Mr. Best was initially arrested on an arrest warrant. Since that arrest warrant has been served, the state has filed the amended criminal complaint, which the court has now written Mr. Best. Does the state wish to be heard on the issue of bond?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead, please.
In light of the state's amendment of the charges in this case to 2 counts of first-degree murder, the state requests that the defendant's bond imposed on the second-degree murder charges filed on December 1st be revoked and that the defendant be held without bond. Under Idaho Criminal Rule 46B, the defendant is not entitled to bond on offense punishable by death. The court is to consider the factors enumerated in Idaho Criminal Rule 46C when determining whether to grant bail, and it's clear that the defendant does not merit bond in this case. The nature of these crimes is as serious as they come. The murders of Kelly Randall Best and her unborn child are arguably the most horrific crimes committed in Teton County in recent history. I understand that the facts regarding the defendant's flight from the scene and subsequent conduct towards Zeke Best are not yet before Your Honor, but I will represent that the defendant fled from the scene and it took extensive law enforcement efforts and efforts of the community to locate the defendant. The defendant has no remaining known family ties in the community. His wife and child that previously resided here are deceased. To the extent that Your Honor decides to grant the defendant bond over the state's objection, the state will request conditions of release and an opportunity to be heard on those today.
Thank you. Mr. Archibald, do you wish to be heard?
Your Honor, I acknowledge that there is no bond for a crime that's punishable by death, so I'm not asking for bond at this time.
Thank you. The court will revoke the original bond was set under the original complaint filed in this case, and will indicate that because of the nature of the allegations against Mr. Best and the nature of the charges, specifically being 2 counts of first-degree murder, that no bond is appropriate in this case under Rule 46, and will hold Mr. Best in custody without bond until further proceedings to be held in this matter. Is there anything further, counsel, that we need to address today? Ms. Smith?
Nothing further from the state.
Mr. Archibald?
No.
All right. Mr. Best, I'm just asking you to stay in touch with your attorney so he can be prepared to represent you, and we'll go from there. With that, the court will be adjourned.